Yeah.
All right, so what's your name? Hanukkah.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in Georgia, but we traveled a lot, being in the military, so everywhere. West Virginia, South Carolina, Colorado, California, here. So.
What's your current situation? You homeless?
Yes, homeless.
How long have you been homeless?
For going on to 4 years now.
How'd you end up out here in the streets?
I guess hanging around with the wrong people. Getting kicked out didn't help the situation, and by helping other people, because I actually was helping homeless people, and ended up getting kicked out for that, for people coming around, and then I couldn't really get back on my feet from there. So.
Do you have family out here?
Yeah, I have a couple brothers and an aunt and an uncle and a couple cousins, but other than that, I don't have anybody.
What about mom and dad?
Both killed themselves.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I was kind of happy my mom did, seriously, because she kept saying she was going to do it over and over and over, and she wasn't really in my life. So it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, finally, it happened. And I didn't mean to hate her, forgive me, God. But, you know, it's just one of those situations where it's just bugging, like she's constantly calling, needing attention. And it's just like, why don't you just get help? And then my dad was my best friend. Out of all the boys, I'm the only girl. So I didn't really start talking to him until I was like almost 17, and I had a lot of hatred towards him, and he didn't deserve any of it because of what happened to me when I was younger. It wasn't his fault, and so, but he didn't know about it, and so therefore I treated him like, you know, like crap, like he did do something, but he didn't. But other than that, towards the end, we became like best friends.
So you didn't grow up with mom and dad?
No.
Who'd you grow up with?
My dad and a bunch of stepmoms.
Okay.
So it's like a different girl every night. So military people are whores.
So your dad was in the military and?
Yes, my dad and mom were in the military, and so I felt bad for them because as I grew older, it was kind of like land of the free, you know, home of the brave, whatever. Everybody go to the military, you know, it'll pay for your education, but a lot of people don't see like what happens in the aftermath, like when they come home and when they had to start all over again, from like giving their lives practically and being like looked up to starting over from nothing, basically being homeless again. And nobody really helps that. No one say, oh well, they get help and stuff, but no one really sees like the after effect and how that affects people, like especially if they have an addiction problem. Nobody like helps them from there to their kids, to their kids, to their kids. So the addiction problem just goes further and further and further. More people get depressed and they think it's okay to kill themselves and stuff like that. So I think there should really be something for that, like especially for military families.
So what was going on with your mom? Was she depressed or?
I think she
was.
She
struggling with substances and stuff like that?
I don't. All I known her to do was like smoke weed and drink, and that's a bad habit that people on the reservation have, is drinking. And if I could go back in time, I never would have drank because I messed up my pancreas by drinking. And with my parents and family killing themselves, I thought it was okay too, so I was just going to drink myself to death. My dad made me promise him that I would kill myself with him. He said, we'll go together. So kind of forced that drinking on me, and I was straight vodka for 6 years, 24/7. I always had a bottle of vodka in a water bottle. I always had vodka no matter where I went, and the doctors kept telling me, stop drinking, took out my gallbladder, stop drinking, kept going back. Right after I left the hospital, I'd go right to the store and grab a pint, keep drinking. And instead of the hospital being like, hey, look, she's in here multiple times for drinking and we keep telling her to stop, they just go, oh, here's some pills. Leading from one addiction to another addiction. And then after my dad died, it was really hard because I'm the one that had to kill him or put him to sleep. It sounds like an animal, not like an animal, but my brothers wouldn't do it, so I had to do it. And he basically drank himself to death. And a lot of people I see nowadays, they do that, especially on the streets. They drink, especially the natives, and I feel bad for them because I hate it. I hate alcohol. I hate the way it makes you be somebody else. I hate the way, like, you know, just everything. The feeling the next day is worse. I think it's honestly worse than, like, I don't know. In one of the classes we did for the sober living classes, they said shame and guilt. That's the topic. Shame and guilt. Like, what do you feel ashamed? What do you feel ashamed about? Do you feel guilty because you do it? Da, da, da. And I was thinking about it, I was like, no, I don't. I don't feel guilty that I do, like, because I do it for pain. But I actually feel a lot more shame and guilt when I was drinking and the things I did drinking than when I did when I was using. Because I knew what I was doing when I was using. When I was drinking, I did a lot of crazy, stupid stuff. I mean, everybody does, so.
Are you out here with your boyfriend, with your husband?
Yeah, with my husband, significant other, yeah.
What are you guys doing right now to survive?
Right now, we've gone from sober living houses to sober living houses, finding out who's real, who's not, who's fraudulent, who's not. And a lot of them come from Texas, and then from Africa to Texas. And then one of them, I remember telling them, saying, why is it that your government comes to our country and teaches us and tells us to go to your country to get free schooling, to be better than you guys and stuff like that? And I thought about that, and I was like, it's really fucked up. But then again, our government's corrupt too as well, so. A lot of them are seven Avengers. A lot of them will lie to you, and I hate to say a lot of them are black. I hate to say that, but it's true. That's why I don't trust them unless there's natives there. They'll say, a question I asked a lot was, why do you do this? Like, why are you trying to help us? Like, what are you going to get out of it? And they would say, well, we care. We care. We want to see you do better. And after, I think, like the third time of hearing that, I was just like, it's all a lie. I mean, the first one we were at, like, after they closed down, they tried kicking us out, and we held our ground because we were like, you need to do it the right way. You can't just go, you need to get out, get on the street. I said, you got to put the paperwork, eviction, and everything. I said, you got to do it the right way in Arizona law. Well, it came to the point where I was cleaning out one of the drawers, and I was pulling out literally like a stack of cashier check receipts. 9,000, 12,000, 7,000, 8,000, just nonstop. And I was like, what the hell? And yet they're dressing better than us. They're wearing nicer stuff than us, but they wouldn't even help us like get clothes and shoes and stuff. And so when they closed down, I reported them, and all the way to the top, and even their alias names and everything, they can't open another house ever again. And they were very, very bad. One of the managers had given me a phone. He didn't tell me it was his. It wasn't his. He said, can you unlock this? Because I work on phones, tech person, phones, computers, laptops, you name it, I can get it. I remember putting it in my room, and then one of the other clients came in the room, and all of a sudden it disappeared. The phone disappeared. And I'm looking for it, can't find it. And then all of a sudden the manager's telling me, well, if you can't find it and you lost it, you sold it, took it, whatever, he's like, I need you to pay me $1,400. I'm like, what do you mean $1,400? He's like, because that wasn't my phone. And I'm like, okay, so you didn't tell me, if you would have told me in the beginning that wasn't your phone, I wouldn't have taken it. But not only that, it was stolen out of our room. And so then I pinged it about a month later, and I found that it was still in the house. And I was like, okay, so we thought someone else had taken it. And we're like, okay, so the people they had brought from Montana, I think, and I believe, honestly, they set her up to do that. But we called the girl, the girl's boyfriend in, and said, hey, look, man, no questions asked, no hard feelings. I know you guys have an iPhone, and I knew when you want somebody to unlock it. And I said, we know what phone it is. I pinged it. And I said, no questions asked, just give it back to us so we can get our money back from the manager, because we had already given him money for it. And so he goes, okay, never comes back. Next morning, the manager tells me that she had given it back and said that she had found it on the island in the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, so you guys condone to that? You guys condone to like people stealing and being like, oh, it's okay, And they literally got them a house and moved them there before we closed it. So that was kind of messed up, and after that I couldn't trust them, because it was like, you're condoning. Our house always smelled like they smoked all the time, and they were like, oh, well, what's that smell? And it's like, come on, you guys we're not stupid here. And it's like, I don't smell, he didn't smell, and it's like, but yet you guys are condoning them to steal, giving them a house, rewarding them for like hurting us. And so after that house, we're just like, we're good, we didn't. So we went to a couple other houses once we figured out, like, hey, this is what they're doing, like they're supposed to be spending this money on this and this. And I also took medical coding and billing, so I would ask them when I saw them, what codes are you using? And they would tell me, and I'd be like, okay, I look it up and this and then. I'd be like, hey, they're getting this much after the clinic, and this much what to use. And I'd be like, even with like 7 people in a house, you still have $16,000 after everything's paid for. And I was like, so where's all that money going to? And then some of these people that actually got picked up from the reservation would be like, oh no, hell, so-and-so, and they're doing the best they can, and they don't have no money. And it's like, he's lying to you to your face. And Like, well, they gave you a roof over your head, and I said, you gave yourself a roof over your head, and we kept trying to instill it in them, but they would think that this person's like so great. Like, it's just sad. It's sad to see.
Are you native?
Yes, I'm Navajo and Sioux, South Dakota and northern Arizona. So, I mean, I wish there was a lot more we could do, but it's sad that there's only in Arizona I know of is treatment for natives and alcohol. I don't see alcohol use for Mexicans. I don't see alcohol use for black people or white people, just for natives. And that's the sad part, and that's why I don't like alcohol. It's like one thing that you can die of if you stopped cold turkey. So, I mean, to me, honestly, I'd rather see like a native, and then like if people did the right way, it's still a downer like alcohol. You know, they could still enjoy their lives and not kill themselves. You know, at one point or another, they're gonna want to walk away. You know, it's either gonna do it or not. And you got the freedom to do it, then you're gonna do it. If you're trying to do it because you love the adrenaline rush, you know, there's gonna become a moment in time where you're just gonna be like, hey, you know what? Here you go, do it. It's here, do it. No one's stopping you. And then what? They're just gonna be like, okay, well, I'm done, I guess. I mean, trying to force somebody to stop doing something, especially if they're an addict, is very, very hard. There's a lot of relapse in that if you don't do it right. But like I said, I'd rather see a native be dope sick for a couple days and be okay than them dying from alcohol withdrawals or passing out and dying from the cold or something. You know, it's embarrassing when I see all these natives out here like drunk and staggering around, asking people for money, and it's just like, dude, what? Like, you just want to be another statistic and stuff? And I'm just like, you know, and believe me, trust me, and I know for a fact that alcohol is a hard demon. A very hard demon to get rid of, because I went through it too, and it took a lot and a long time to get rid of alcohol. But it's possible, and if you really want it, yeah. But you gotta just, you know, surround yourself with the right people and really know what you want to do, and definitely pray, so we forget.
All right, well, thank you for sharing your story. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Are you okay if I post it on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
And just in case anybody wants to reach out to you with any sort of help or donations?
I do want to start a program because, like I said, these sober living houses, fraudulent ones, there's people there that are paying their own way class. And I'm like, you know what, let me help you. Let me give you a gas card or something. The people who have no clothes and they're living in a sober living house. And it's like, you know, if you need help, just, you know, here you go. Like,
do you have any contact information that you want to share?
Just my Facebook, I guess. It's Mowgli Dennison, and then I guess my number. Can I give my number?
It, though?
Oh yeah, it's Mogli, like Mowgli the Great. Just kidding. And Dennison, Dennison, and my number, I guess I'll leave with you. So.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So, you're welcome.